First, we're going to look at the story of the success and excess of American college sports. With the college football national championship game set for Monday night, Notre Dame and Ohio State have already made millions of dollars on their way to the title game. That's on top of the huge money big conference teams make from their TV contracts.
Eric Moyen is a professor at Mississippi State, and John Thielen is at the University of Kentucky. They have a new book that traces the evolution of informal competitions on campuses to games involving millions of student athletes with huge dollars at stake. It's called College Sports, A History. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Hey, I think we all kind of assumed that 100 years ago, student athletes played for the love of the game and it was all very informal. But is that not the case?
It really isn't the case. And as people today either celebrate all of the successes that exist or lament the commercialization, this history tries to correct that myopic view by pointing out that schools such as the University of Chicago, when they started in the 1890s, William Rainey Harper, their president, said he wanted to create a football team to build publicity and knock out all of the other colleges around the country. And in so doing, he wanted to send the players in palace cars and subsidize vacations. And the University of Chicago was very, very successful. You know, Notre Dame followed a similar branding, kind of a small school in northern Indiana that was nondescript, and they utilized football to really develop a national brand that didn't exist at any other institution, creating what we would call, or what we do call, the Subway alumni, who are people who love Notre Dame even though they may have not stepped foot on campus.
I remember interviewing football players at Northwestern before NIL was instituted, and at the time it seemed to make sense. It's like, oh, you know, these football programs are making so much money. Why wouldn't athletes get a piece of the pie? But how was that changed? How was it implemented? And do you think that there were some mistakes that were made?
I think it's going to change every dimension because it's essentially college sports is going to have a new deal, and there's going to be a very uneven impact of NIL. Now, in some cases, women as athletes, particularly, let's say, in swimming and gymnastics, will do very well. But by and large, I think you're going to see the really strong programs in football and men's basketball will pull further ahead of their competitors with the NIL.
What does this all mean for education and students getting a better education and the cost of education?
In some ways, you know, the NCAA and its previous leadership fumbled on this when many people were calling for NIL type deals in a way that would help keep students in school. So you have track athletes who may be able to sign large contracts, but in order to do so, they had to leave school. But rather than address this head on and say, this is a commercial enterprise and we need to allow students in it, they basically stuck to this is purely amateur, which we know is a myth. And hopefully there will be some corrections in that where we can utilize funds to say, hey, it's a great thing to stay in school, and we believe this really can transform your life.
I think realistically, when you look at the practice schedules and the training that is involved, at least that's required of the athletes, I don't know how much time is left for them to actually study sometimes. So how is that, how can we, you know, how is that going forward in terms of the requirements made, you know, in terms of colleges to say, like, hey, you need to set aside time for them to actually have time to focus on academics?
I think that's going to be one of the most challenging issues, given, for example, the conference realignments where the Big Ten, which we used to think of being in the Midwest, now extends to the Pacific Coast Ocean with UCLA and USC. So it's going to be a complete new deal, but each college and university and each conference is going to have to face what is its standard in terms of the genuine student athlete. Let me give you a quick example. Much of your focus in Chicago will be on the Big Ten, but shift your attention to an outstanding academic university, Princeton. I happen to be looking at their January Princeton Weekly Alumni Magazine, their feature is not on the physics department. Rather, it's on 25 greatest Princeton athletes. So college sports span the spectrum of all universities.
Eric, with all this money pouring into college athletics now, I would imagine it sort of opens the door to scandal, corruption. Is there anybody watching this from the outside who has everyone's best interest?
That's difficult to say. Certainly across different spectrums, you have some people who may have sinister motives, and you have other individuals who really are trying to help out the student athlete. And what we hope is that at institutions which have developed over the last 2 decades some really fabulous academic support systems, that those institutions utilize this not to keep players eligible, but to help them find what they love to study and how that will serve them well in the rest of their lives.
The book is College
I
Sports.
hope Eric is right. I hope Eric is right, because I noticed last year that Michigan State University proudly announced in its stadium as you entered that it was in partnership with Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
So
Right.
as for academic standards and fair play, I'm not sure I'd bet on that.
Yeah, well, youth sports gambling online may be another book for you guys, or another segment. Thanks, guys. The book is College Sports: A History, and check out the websites for Kentucky and Mississippi State. Eric and John, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.